Hey, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Late Night Vision Show, your one-stop shop for all the information that you need to know on anything night vision or thermal related. Y'all, we've been doing this. This is for many, many weeks now, many months, many years. It's been a while. From day one, Mr. Jason Robertson, owner of Outdoor Legacy. What's going on, man?
Not much. I'm over
I hear
here.
you fidgeting with stuff over there.
Yeah, you do. And we've
Man.
been doing it. We've been doing it so long, and I'm still over here with one, nearly dead AirPod. I'm trying to get the other one in so I can hear you good. But no, we're good. I tell you what. This week we got a show that this is one of those I feel bad about. And the reason I feel bad about it
Great
is
way to start a show.
I know, but the reason I feel bad is because this is a show that should have been done months and months and months and months ago. And it just got put to the side. We had other stuff come up, and then we kind of forgot about it. We're going to talk about the AGM Neith LRF Digital Night Vision Rifle Scope. And so the reason I say this is this scope's been on the market for a good while. Back on episode 257, had to look, 257, we reviewed the AGM Neith. So if you want to watch that review, you absolutely can. Again, number 257 right here on the podcast. But the Neith LRF, same exact scope with a laser rangefinder, came out, and we've had them. We've been selling them like crazy, and we just have not got around to reviewing it. And we kind of forget. Once you kind of push something back, it gets dusty on the shelf. We're like, oh my gosh, we haven't done this. And so Hans and I were going over, and there's a lot of stuff like this we haven't done that we kind of forgot about. So we wanted to do this review. These digital night vision reviews are always big. A lot of people are really looking to get into night vision and thermal hunting affordably, and they don't know where to start. And these digital night vision optics are a great place. I also understand that most people that are starting into this, they don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. A lot of times they end up here on YouTube searching around. They find us. I know sometimes people are on Facebook and asking questions and looking, but guys, we know it's confusing. We know that you don't want to spend money and just go down to a local store and buy something and then get it home and go, oh my gosh, this is not what I needed. This is not made for what I'm doing. And you've made an expensive purchase. I mean, even if you get down into the less expensive night vision stuff of like $500, that's $500. I mean, that's not, you don't want to buy the wrong thing. And it gets even scarier as you go up into the thermal and you get into the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $6,000, $7,000 price ranges. So that's what Hans and I do at Outdoor Legacy. That is the business that we operate, where we do nothing but test and use and sell all the night vision and thermal optics that we review on this show and way, way more. And you can always call us at 877-350-1818 or go to the website. Hans is going to put it on the screen. It's outdoorlegacygear.com. Guys, we'd love to have your business. If you want to call and talk to us, figure out which optic that you need, we would be happy to do that, help you, and then help you get that order. We have free shipping. Get the stuff shipped right out to you. I think one thing, Hans, real quick before I end this little promo, I don't think we talk about enough, is we've got a very large warehouse in Fort Worth, Texas, which is up by Dallas. And if you order from us an optic that is in stock, and we'll tell you if it's in stock or not, the website shows that, you order on a business day before noon Texas time, we ship it the same business day. If you order after lunch or you order on a weekend, it ships the very next business day. This is not one of those deals where it sits around in our warehouse for a week or two. You wonder if we're ever going to ship it. So very fast shipping, great guys in the warehouse, great ladies in the office that are supporting Hans and I. Y'all get to call and talk to them. Guys, we'd love to have your business. Yeah. But let's roll on with this.
I want to say two things.
Go ahead.
Before you get into specs, I want to say two things. Okay. First of all, if you say you feel bad, I think this is perfect timing to do a night vision scope review, because I think night vision gets really popular as you start to go into, preparations for deer season, for deer hunters, people wanting to get rid of some coons on feeders. I think these are fantastic tools. And if you are, I don't care if you consider yourself a thermal hunter, don't disregard the night vision, because you might sit here and say, you know what, I've got a $10,000 thermal scope. I do this. I'm all thermal. I'm not going to mess around with night vision. If you do not have a night vision scope on a 22 LR rifle, you are missing all kinds of fun that you don't even know about, man. Because if you going out and shooting, whether it's rabbits or if it's coons on feeders tearing stuff up, there is no more fun than putting a night vision scope on a 22 LR. And man, it does not get any better than that. So anyway, go on. We're going to do specs. We're going to talk about video. I got a lot of video with this thing with an add-on IR light with the the IR light that comes in the unit. So stay tuned.
Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure. Okay, so let's jump into this. It is the AGM Neith. That's Neith. Weird name. It's AGM Neith LRF laser rangefinder, and this is the only digital night vision optic from any reputable manufacturer that has a laser rangefinder built into it, or even add on. This is it. If you want a digital night vision optic with a laser rangefinder, this is your choice if you want a reputable company and a quality scope. And so we were really excited when AGM did this. And a lot of people say, well, how does it work? How does it perform? It performs great. We're going to get into that, but let's run down these specs real quick. So first of all, the unit, the price on the scope is $999. Now, right out of the box, I'm going to go ahead and say, and Hans is going to show it in a minute, but for your $1,000, let's say, you're getting a complete kit. This is a scope. It does have a built-in IR light. We'll talk about its capabilities. Really cool thing is that it's got a couple $100 American Defense Manufacturing quick detach mount included in the box with it. This is a fully return to zero mount, so you can pop this off and on your rifle. Really like that as well. Yeah. So full meal deal, $1,000, $999. Now let's talk about the specs. So the digital night vision resolution is 2,560 by 440 pixels. Okay. It is a 2.5 power base magnification, and it goes up to 20 power with digital zoom. It's got a 32 millimeter lens. It's got a field of view of 43 feet horizontally at 100 yards. So that's what you can see left to right out there at 100 yards. It's got, and this is something I want to just mention because people ask this, and this is in the specs. It's not always the minimum focusing distance. There's a lot of guys that like to use these for shooting rats in barns, shooting pigeons, and they want to know how close they can be. And it's about 3 yards. You can, get a good tight image. So, we're talking about 9-10 foot. That's about as close as I'm going to get to anything I'm going to shoot. So detection range with the built-in IR illuminator, which Hans is going to show in a minute, we're going to say it's somewhere around 100 yards. I mean, to be out there and see a hog or a coyote and probably be able to shoot it. There could be some nights it's a little less than that. You get maybe 75 yards. You get a full moon night. You may extend that out some into that 125, 150 yard range, but we're just going to say around 100 yards. Now, one thing I want to point out is if you look at the specs from AGM, they give a much longer range. We're being honest with you. We're telling you what we have found using multiple, of these units out in the field in real conditions.
And when we say 100 yards, it doesn't mean like a rabbit or a possum. It means like a hog or coyote,
a deer.
It's
coyote,
gonna be anything bigger, coyote and bigger at 100 yards. Yeah,
correct. I agree. It's got an OLED display screen, 1920 by 1080, with 50 frames per second. It has a different modes, so it's got a day-night mode and auto mode. It's got a defog mode for bad weather. But basically, you have full color during the day, so you can absolutely go out and deer hunt or coyote hunt or hog, whatever you want to do. Target shoot during the day. It's full color, beautiful image. And then again, at night, it's going to be a black and white image. So it's a video both times. I want to be clear. It's not like looking through a glass scope. It's like a video. But day, full color, night, black and white. You do have digital zoom, as we've already talked about, all the way up to the 20 power. It has picture-in-picture function. It says, if you know what that is. If you don't, it's just a little bitty picture right up at the top of your screen with the crosshairs in it where it's zoomed up. It just makes it easier to take shots without zooming up the whole screen. We can explain that if you got questions about it. It has multiple reticles. It does have video and audio recording. It has recoil activated video recording. It has a standby mode. It also has a Wi-Fi streaming to a smartphone or a tablet. And the max measuring distance on the laser rangefinder is 1,000 meters. I'll be honest with you, I don't think you can hold it steady enough to get on something at 1,000 meters. It's a long ways, but the laser is capable of that. This is one of my favorite things, and we're going to talk more about this, I'm sure, as well, but it uses one single, fully removable 18650 rechargeable battery. We love 18650s. It comes with 2 batteries and a charger, and you can easily buy more of these batteries. We sell them at Outdoor Legacy anywhere from, $15 to $30. We've got some that are made for really, really cold weather. So there's a lot of different options with 18650s, but they're a generic, really good rechargeable battery. The runtime, this is going to depend on what, type of battery you have, how many milliamp hours. But the batteries they come with, we've been getting around 4 hours of runtime. If you get a higher milliamp hour, you'll get longer than that. But as it comes, about 4 hours of runtime in normal conditions. One thing's really cool is it's got a low temperature rating of down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit and up to 131 degrees. I'm not going to be out there in either one of those temperatures testing that. It's really compact and small. It's about 8.5 inches by 3.4 inches by 2.7 inches. With the mount, with the battery, it's going to weigh around 26 ounces. So it's actually not that heavy. It's fully waterproof, fully submersible, 3 foot for 30 minutes, 308 recoil rating. Again, it comes with that American Defense Manufacturing quick detach mount, and it's got a 3-year warranty on the unit, bumper to bumper. Hans, give them the walk around.
Yeah, so here we go. Like Jason said, very small and compact for a night vision optic. It does have the built-in IR light. I guess the good part of having that built-in IR light, that it's a very small package. If you're shooting close range, you don't have to worry about putting an add-on IR light. It's just right there inside the optic itself. You got the laser rangefinder part right here when it shoots out the laser. You've got your 18650 battery compartment here on the top. You've got your control buttons are on the left side of the optic. So, I would not say that that's 100% ambidextrous design, but for me, I thought it was okay. Not too bad as a right-handed shooter. It does have the American Defense Manufacturing mount on it, like Jason said. Very good quality mount. Returns to zero. You can take it off, go hunt with it, scan with it, put it back on your rifle, and not have to worry about re-zeroing. Rubber eye cup, eyepiece diopter focus with an objective lens focus right here on the front. Plastic spring-loaded lens cap cover, but that's about it. If you've seen the original Neith night vision scope, the only difference is the laser rangefinder right here on top. So that's it. In a nutshell, very small.
And I want to just point out, because there's some people that have probably seen this and go, man, this looks familiar. This is the same exact body style that AGM uses for their Varmint series. They've got a Varmint V2 that actually came out very recently, but it's the same body style, and that's their laser rangefinder model for their thermals.
I do want to say,
in case you've seen that,
one thing, you can charge this optic with the 18650 battery in the scope itself, plug it in with the USB-C, and it will charge the battery inside the scope. I made sure of it myself.
Are you 100%
I
sure
am.
of that?
I was wrong about that on a previous week.
You can't do it on the varmints.
You cannot do it on the varmint. Yeah, for some reason. You can do it on this one. So,
guys, I'm not signing off on this. So if this is wrong and you buy this, all complaints go to Hans. But he's sure of it. So I hope he's right.
I did screw that up on a different optic a couple weeks ago, but nobody knows because I edited that part out. So. Yeah, that might happen right here too. So who knows?
Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about some realistic uses. Hans, I want to go ahead and talk about the IR. I think that's something important that we need to get out front. I don't want people to misunderstand what this unit is capable of with the built-in IR and with it when it's not. So what I would ask you is, this is the question that our customers ask us, is, all right, let's say I'm going to shoot coons off a feeder at 50 yards. I'm going to ask you multiple questions, so don't answer yet. Okay, can I use it just the way it is out of the box? I mean, is that good enough to do that? Or I'm going to shoot hogs at a feeder, whatever. Is that good enough? But hey, I'm going to go hunt hogs and coyotes and whatever I'm going to use, and I'm going to be out there and I'm going to be at ranges all over, but a lot of stuff at 125, 150, 200, or maybe I don't even want to shoot this far, but I want to be able to see if there are animals, hogs, coyotes at 200, 300, 400 yards. What do I need to do? What's the breakover point for buying something like a sniper hog light that I hope you've got there that you can show the folks?
Man, I feel like there's like 5 questions in that one big question.
There's a lot.
So I'm going to see if I can piece this together. So
I teed you up there. Come on, this
you
is
did.
easy. I can answer them.
So I would say if you are wanting to shoot coons off a feeder at 50 yards, I think that the light that it comes with is doable. I don't think you're going to be able to see a ton. I don't think it's going to be so illuminated that you can see the stripes on its tail. I think you're going to see more of just like a shadow at that range. Not a shadow, probably a little bit better than that. But the breakover point, and this is probably a good point to show the videos of the different uses of me using an IR light versus the built-in IR light. And I'm saying that for myself. So during the editing process, I remember to put it here, and I may not even work. But I was looking at hogs at 150 yards with the built-in IR light, and they look like black shadows. I mean, not really comfortable taking shots definitely at that distance. 100 yards, I thought 100 yards and in was I could feel comfortable taking a shot on a hog at 100 yards with the built-in IR light. Now, it wasn't the greatest image ever, and it didn't show a lot of clarity, and it didn't, because it was still pretty dark at that range. But if I was going to use the built-in IR light, it would really just be for shooting small game at very short ranges. I think, out to 50 yards. 50 yards is going to be the max. If I really was serious about hunting further than that, I would definitely, I've got the 66 LRX sniper hog light here. This is what I use with it for testing. I would definitely invest if you're wanting to consistently take shots over, 50 yards, 100 yards, and even further. If you're just shooting squirrels and pigeons out of a barn, I think the built-in IR light's fine. But if you're doing some serious coyote hunting, serious hog hunting, serious coon hunting, you're going to want something that's going to give you more definition and detail with something that's way more illuminated than what you're going to get out of built-in IR. I think the built-in IR light, when we get to the pros and cons, I think it's a pro, and I also think it's a con. But at the same time, I don't know of another optic that has that built-in IR light like that. So if I was just, hey, I just want something to shoot, at 20 armadillos out of my front yard. Well, man, I can't think of anything better. But it is nice. You can add that bigger IR light and give you the range that you need. And it does have the picture quality once it is your target is properly illuminated at a longer range. It does have the picture quality to show you all the detail that you need. It's just that light is just not strong enough. I mean, just plain and simple.
Okay, I want to make a couple quick comments here, observations, and we'll jump into the pros and cons of what we feel this unit is. Number one, if you're watching this and you're like, okay, but I this laser rangefinder thing they're talking about, I don't need that, then you don't need to buy this optic, because you can buy the Neith for $799 without the laser rangefinder. Exact same optic. Exactly. Just no laser rangefinder. So just by the way, I should have mentioned that early on. If you don't need the laser, just cut this off. Go watch our episode 257 and check that out with no laser rangefinder. But I'm going to make this comment, and I know there's going to be an exception. I'm going to say, if you're buying this scope because of the laser rangefinder, you need to go ahead and plan on buying, when you purchase the optic, another IR illuminator like the Sniper Hog Light 66 or the Coyote Cannon to go with it. Yeah. Now, I know the exception is going to be some of our guys who are shooting crossbows or who are shooting maybe air rifles with large drop, and they're like, hey, I may only shoot 60 yards, but I need to know if that animal is 30 yards or 50 yards. I need to know that. So I know there's some exceptions on the close range with, again, crossbow, air gun, that sort of thing. But if you get into any type of a center fire rifle and doing hunting that you're going to want to know if that animal's 150 or 250 or 350, whatever, that's why you're buying the laser rangefinder. At that point, you need to go ahead and buy the Sniper Hog Light, a better IR illuminator like that to put with it. That's just kind of my opinion.
No, I agree.
When it comes to this one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you need the laser rangefinder, most likely you need another IR light. And I'll kind of end that discussion a little bit and say this. Unless you're really, really, really just wanting to use this at super close ranges, buy the IR light, because even if you're not shooting that far, you want to see what's out there.
Oh, yeah.
If you're in a field that you can see 200 or 300 yards,
Yeah.
you just want to know what's out there. Even if you're not going to shoot that far, you're out there at night to see. You want to see as much as you can. And I think an IR light, like the 66 that Hans has got, that's $185 for the whole kit. Batteries, light, full meal deal. I think it's worth that. All right, going on. Let's talk about some pros and cons. We always like to do the cons first. Get them out of the way. I'm going to take these real quick. I think we've beat this dead horse about the IR light. Hans made a good point. It's a pro and a con. It's a con in the fact of if you want to do stuff at 150, 200 yards, you need another light. It's a pro if you want to do stuff under 100 yards. It's small, it's compact, and it's built in. You don't have to have an external IR light hanging off your rifle anywhere.
Yeah.
With that, there's nowhere on the scope to mount an additional IR light. So if you do have to put one on, if you buy something like that Sniper Hog Light, you're going to have a Picatinny rail somewhere on your rifle. So that's just important. If you're on an AR, it's probably not an issue. Speaking of that, I don't believe that this optic is best suited for bolt action rifles. Now, I know there's exceptions to that. I think even our salesman Ashley mounted this on one of his bolt guns, was able to get it far enough back and get that eye relief, but he's a big guy. And you gotta be able to get into this scope, this eyepiece. So I would just say, generally speaking, if you're putting on any kind of a rifle with a fixed, non-collapsible stock, this is going to be a little tough. You may make it work, you may not. I don't think this is best suited for that. There are not aftermarket mounts that extend this back or anything. So if you get into a bind, you're going to have to add rails, extended rails, and things to your rifle. So generally, I'm going to recommend this to guys on ARs, chassis guns, anything with a collapsible stock. I would say the same thing even on some air guns. If you got a long stock, probably not the best. One more thing that I would mention, that it's not the end of the world, but people ask sometimes, are these scopes ambidextrous? Most scopes are, but this scope, the controls are on the left side, which is the side that you want if you're a right-handed shooter, because your right hand is on your trigger, your off hand is your left hand. So they're right where you would want them to be as a right-handed shooter. If you're a left-handed shooter, I will go ahead and tell you the controls are on the wrong side. You're going to have to either remove your left hand from the trigger and control it, or reach all the way over the scope. So that's just something, again, it only affects a certain amount of people, but I do like to mention it. Sometimes we forget, but we do have guys like, hey, I'm left-handed. Is it ambidextrous? I would say not without a little bit of work. Now, Hans, I'm going to keep the floor because I've said a bunch of negative things, so I want to say some positive things and come back from that a little bit. And I want to say that I'm going to let you bring up what you want to as well, but a few things that I really, really like. The negative 22 degrees temperature rating. That is lower than most other digital night vision scopes. Now, I know these other optics from other brands, a lot of guys are using them in those cold temperatures, but this one is rated for it. So I think that's really good for our cold weather guys. I think the 18650, so we really love those. Again, just to harp on it again, it's a generic, rechargeable, fully removable battery, very affordable. And if you are in those cold temperatures, it's nice to have a battery that you can pop right out, pop another one in. So I think that is a big deal. And the last thing I'll say before I hand it back over to you, to Hans, is I think this scope does something. And when I say, by the way, again, the Neith or the Neith LRF, this goes for both. I think it does really good in low light with no IR illuminator. Now, that doesn't mean in black dark you're going to go hunt with it with no IR. But one thing that some night vision scopes struggle with is that low light, that sunset to dusk. Like the sun starts going down, and it's like, okay, I've got to turn on the IR illuminator because I can't see anything. This scope does a pretty darn good job of bringing in what's left of that ambient light out there. And if you're deer hunting and you can't legally turn on an IR light, that's pretty nice. It gives you a few more minutes of legal light to hunt, where with some of these other scopes, you might have a little bit of trouble. So I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing as well. I mean, the picture image is really good, y'all. Day and night, I think with a good quality aftermarket IR light, you can really stretch out there and get some long range identification and even some moderate to long range shooting, as capable as any night vision, I would think, on the market. But 18650 is a big thing. I think the size and the compactness, Jason, is what really does it for me. The fact that it's really an all-in-one with the laser rangefinder, with the built-in IR light, whether you're putting it on your 22 LR, whether you're putting it on your hog rifle or coyote rifle or on a crossbow, like you mentioned, or if you're just carrying it, just to carry around and have something that you can range with during the day, or do some videoing with. I mean, the fact that you can fit something like that into a jacket pocket or a backpack, very small and compact, really like that, very lightweight. AGM they've really got a corner on the market with this compact stuff, with their thermal rattlers, with the varmints and all that. And now you got this with the Neiths, and the original Neith, the non-LRF model, been very, very popular all through last season. And with the Neith LRF, even though we're just now getting around to reviewing it, is a very popular optic as well, because you get the availability of getting the laser rangefinder built in with that optic, and it's a nice tool to have, just to be able to have that. But the mount, the fact that you're getting a 3-year warranty on something like this, that you don't get that kind of. We talked about this in the past, Jason. You don't get that kind of warranty if you buy a computer. We just bought I say I just bought, but we got a nice MacBook computer a few years ago, and I mean, they're expensive, to do all the editing stuff that we do. And I mean, we came with a 1-year warranty, and it probably cost 5 to 6 times more than this scope did. So the fact that you're getting a good quality warranty, AGM has good customer service, a good company. Obviously we sell a lot of their optics. We review all of them right here. And I think the Neith is a good partner to the Neith non-LRF. You got 2 different options there. But anyway,
so
thumbs up.
You said something there that hit me that I think is important. And it goes back to this small built-in IR illuminator. The Neith is going to be either one, the Neith or the Neith LRF, is the only digital night vision optic, again, is out there that we sell from a reputable company. I mean, somebody may come up with something somewhere else, okay? But that is a small, compact, quality optic that has that built-in IR that then allows you to take that off with the American Defense mount. We talked about quick detach, pop that off. And maybe you want to use that as a handheld around the house. What's the dog barking at? Well, are there armadillos out in the yard in the flower bed? Or, I thought I heard somebody out there. What's going on down the road? That is something that you can't do with some of the other brand optics. Well, let me back up. Okay. Some of them you can't because there's no IR. There's no place to mount an IR on it. But some of the ones that do have a little bracket for the IR, it's still bulkier, it's bigger. You got a flashlight, essentially. I mean, the flashlight size optic hanging off the side of it. Hans has showed you how small this is. This would not be out of the realm of possibilities to set this by the door, set this on the end table by the couch, and hey, what's the dog barking at? Go out there and look. And I don't think that you would reasonably do that with some of these other brands of optics with, you got a big bulky IR illuminator. So I do think that that's nice, that it's going to allow you to do a little bit more as a handheld. And we rarely would say that with a digital night vision scope. And we haven't really talked about this. So let's talk about this laser rangefinder for just a minute, because that is kind of the claim to fame to this optic. It works. It works really well. It's responsive. Now, people ask how accurate it is. It's accurate. Okay, it is as accurate as you need to be to take the shot. It does what it's supposed to do. People a lot of times will ask me, well, okay, how far can I really use it to range? That answer comes down to how steady and how still can you hold it. If it's on a rifle, which that's how you're probably going to be using it, especially if you're using the laser rangefinder, if you're just holding that up with no tripod and no rest, probably not very far, okay? But I'm going to make the assumption you've got a good rest, whether that's sitting in a deer stand, a blind of some sort, or if you're on a tripod, hunting hogs or calling coyotes. If you're on a good, solid rest, and I'm not talking about sandbags here, I'm just talking about out the deer stand window, or again, or on a good tripod, I think in that 300 to 400 yard range is really, I don't want to say easy, but that's really doable. And further than that, okay, if you've got a good solid rest, further, you can get on out there. But I think 300 yards, absolutely very easy. Now, again, it depends on how big the animal is. A coon is going to be a lot harder to hold that little bitty laser on and press the button and not move the scope than a coyote.
Yeah.
And a hog may be easier than a coyote. You know how it goes, the bigger it gets. But a coyote, hog size animal, I still think 300 or 400 yards on a rest is very doable. Again, probably further than that, but I doubt you're going to be doing a lot of shooting further than that.
Yeah.
So probably doesn't matter a whole lot. But the laser rangefinder, another question people ask is, hey, is that going to burn up my battery? The answer to that is no. First of all, they use very, very little battery, and you don't have to have this thing running. You can press the button, send the laser, and when it's not sending the laser, it's not using any battery. So the battery would not be a concern of mine at all. All these we've sold have had zero complaints about the battery life on the LRF or the non-LRF model.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So, with that being said, I think that, we ran through the specs. We talked about our likes and dislikes, who it might be good for. And, with night vision, there's always something to remember at the end of the day, because, you might call up and say, is this night vision right for me, or do I need to step up into thermal? And I think, Jason, a good way to end this is to tell you where night vision is going to do well and where it's not going to do well. And maybe that's not the right spot in the review. But anyway, night vision is going to perform very well in areas where there's a fresh cut field, wide open, not any tall brush, bushes, trees, limbs, any obstruction in your view you want to avoid. You want to have clear lines of sight. You want fresh cut grass, fields, all that kind of stuff. That way, you're going to get maximum range. If you start to get any places where there's obstruction in your view, the IR light simply is just going to bounce off of everything and just reflect back up in the scope and make it where you really can't see anything past that point. So that's where night vision does well, and where it does not do well, obviously, is in, if you're hunting in the woods or in areas where there's tall grass or any type of leaves, trim, bushes, and that kind of stuff. Anyway, so yeah, if you are one of those areas describe you, that might help you decide if it's going to work for you or not.
Yeah, I want to say one last thing too, because I know this is going to come up. We could have talked about this earlier, but on episode 327, we did a review of the AGM Rattler version 2 256 thermal rifle scopes. And they're in the same price, like $7.99 and $9.99. And so I know there's going to be guys that go, well, wait, why would I buy this when I can get thermal for the same price? And this is a whole show. We could do a whole show on it, but I'm just going to real quick here in 30 seconds tell you. Those optics, if you watched a review, you know this, but those optics basically have 100 yard, maybe 125 yard safe shooting distance that you can identify. These are what we honestly call sub-entry level thermals. I mean, you're not going to safely identify and shoot at 175, 200 yards. And you're not going to get a laser rangefinder.
Right.
But you can do that with this optic. You can shoot 200 yards, 300 yards, further if you're capable and have some experience and safe and know all those things. I'm not out there recommending it, but the scope is absolutely capable with a good IR light of being able to identify easily a hog or a coyote at those ranges. And so you cannot do that without getting into a thermal scope that's going to be in that $2,000 to $3,000 price range, and you're going to have to get on up there to get the laser rangefinder. So this optic offers a whole lot more than some of these, again, low resolution thermal optics. And again, we reviewed those. We talked about those on that show. If you're interested in that, and hey, you know what? If you're only doing stuff under 100 yards, that may interest you more. You may want to go watch that as well. But everything has its place, and everything has its strong points and its weak points. And so we just want to be sure that when people look at this, and they don't go, well, wait a minute, why would anybody buy this when you can buy thermal for the same price? Well, you can buy very limited thermal compared to what this will do. And again, I can talk to you and I can make a case for Neith. I can make a case for a thermal. It just depends on your situation, and that's something that, in our opinion, you're probably going to need to talk to somebody about, and that's what we do. That's what we would be glad to help you with, and help you with that
Perfect.
deciding on that, which one is best for you, and help you with that purchase when you're ready.
Perfect. Perfect
guys,
segue. I mean, you're right into it.
We hope you enjoyed this show. We do these all the time right here on the Late Night Vision Show. We're on YouTube. You found us hopefully here, but we're also on all the podcast apps. If you prefer to listen to us and you don't really care about seeing the optic or seeing the video, or maybe you just want to go back and check that out later, you can find the Late Night Vision Show, again, all over the podcast apps as well as YouTube. We can go to thelatenightvision.show.com. We've harped on Outdoor Legacy, and guys, I know you're probably thinking, man, quit with the commercials, but this is what we do for a living. This is how we feed our families, all the other people that work for us. This is what we do. And we want to offer you the very best customer service that we can, way better than these big box stores, way better than these big online stores. They can't help you. They can't help you before the sale. They can't help you after the sale. And so we want to do that. We want to make sure that you're spending your money on what is just right for you. No surprises, no wasted money, and it lets you get out there and have the most fun that you can and spend your money the wisest. So again, the phone number has been up on the screen, 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacygear.com. Hans has got a bunch of more videos. He puts out all kinds of shorter reviews on his YouTube channel, which is HANSETX, Hans East Texas. That's right here on YouTube as well. And you can find, any of our stuff on all the social medias. Hans, Outdoor Legacy, the Late Night Vision Show. We're around Instagram, Facebook. Just search us and you'll find us right there.
All right, y'all. So this has been another episode of the Late Night Vision Show. We got way more reviews to come up with. We still got an interview to do here pretty soon. That's going to be coming. We're on our summer schedule right now, but if you are not watching 2 Minute Tuesday, you need to check that out. It's a couple minutes long, and here lately they've been getting to be more than a couple minutes, but that's where we talk about sales and promotions and promos and new scopes. If you want to know the breaking news that's quick and hey, this is out now or this is on sale, check out 2 Minute Tuesday. As the title says, every Tuesday, typically Tuesday morning, depending on if we get it done in time, but it does come out every Tuesday. But we appreciate y'all watching. Until next time, this has been the Late Night Vision Show. We'll see y'all soon.